Good evening once again. Welcome to the Issues Room. We're glad to be back here again with another presentation. This time, our 235th broadcast. We're coming your way from the city of Philadelphia, where the main studio is, but we'll be joined by Moses Sandy in Delaware and Alphonso also in Pennsylvania. We'd like to welcome all of you, our viewers, wherever you are. Please share the link, increase the number. We have some good things to talk about here tonight. Sorry for the delay in coming on at 7 p.m. sharp, but usually we're here Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11 p.m. in Liberia and those countries within the Greenwich time zone. Thank you for being a loyal viewer, and we encourage you to please invite others to join us here tonight. Without further ado, like to say, Moses Sandy, Alfonso Yeno, gentlemen, welcome. Let's kick off this 235th broadcast. We have a lot to unpack, and we don't want to eat up the time. We're already gone at least 5 minutes into the start.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. And to the many viewers, I want to say it's always a pleasure being here with you.
So, gentlemen,
Thank you.
quickly, man. We know things happening in Liberia as usual. Our country is the only place where they say they're enjoying peace, but the things that happen out there don't portray that. Today there was an infighting within the ruling party, the Unity Party, at this national headquarters on Broad Street, the old family planning building where they're renting. Accordingly, a group of the uh, leaders within the party decided to hold a press conference. The same thing we talked about here uh, a few weeks ago when we talked about why is Luther Tapper holding on to his job and Amos Tuer and any other partisan for that matter. And we made a comparative analysis with Moba Molu, who remained party chairman and was never given a position within the CDC government. We looked at the code of conduct and the conflict of interest. And so apparently, it fell on good soil. And some of the partisans decided to hold a press conference to discuss the issue and hold Amos Tuer and the others accountable. Accordingly, Amos Tuer went there with some of his lieutenants, and they stormed the party headquarters, and they went into a rancors and it led into fight, and some people close got raped. One guy by the name of Clinton, and got bruised, and how can this happen with the ruling party?
Very good question, Volcano.
When
You know,
when they said it would
okay.
change everything that was done wrong. How can this happen?
I mean, what we are seeing, what we are reading about, is a complete contradiction of what President Bouacar and the UP promised Liberians. Yeah, the Liberia honor him will not be business as usual. But instead of being business as usual, we see the situation declining, on a consistent basis. Uh, I would like to begin with this. President Walker he claimed to have had 42 years leadership experience. So I will assume he's occurring with all the legal instruments that govern Liberia. I will want to assume that he has a profound understanding of this legal instrument, especially the code of conduct. I'm sure President Barker, Bushu Benkate, the political advisor to the president, what's the lady name?
Magdala Cooper?
Mandela Cooper.
Magdala.
I'm sure those people may have had conversation and say, hey, Mr. President, the code of conduct frowns on the appointment of political leaders, people who are actively engaged with political activities, especially at the party level, to positions in government. If those people did not hold that conversation with the president, then that get beats my imagination. And I would even ask Bushu Ben Keita as a legal pastor to the president, whether he's doing like you know, justice for the salary that he receives monthly. It's in the code of conduct. The president made a nomination. The nominations went to the first branch of government, especially the Senate. This is where again I would like to beat down on our senators. How can you be a lawmaker and you're not occurring with the laws of the country? How do you confirm the Secretary General of the Unity Party as managing director at the LPRC when you have a code of conduct that says that political appointees cannot engage in active political activities?
Party activities.
All those people, yeah. I mean, party executives, all the guys who went through the process. Mo Ali is an executive of the Unity Party.
But
They
I'm not sure.
confirmed
I'm not
Mo
sure
Ali.
about Mo Ali. But let's talk about
Mo
it.
Ali is, I'm telling you,
Okay.
Mo Ali is a spokesman for the Unity Party. It's a prominent position. The deputy minister at the Ministry of State, Olinia Kura, is a vice president of the Unity Party. The party chairman is a senior executive. This man is what? Chair of the board of directors at NBA. And they come and say, oh, well, this will not be business as usual. Now, I am happy that their own partisans having listened to educated people like us and say, oh, Volcano, we should get ourselves credit. We raise the red flag and people listen and they say, look, Mr. President, this doesn't work that way. These people need to be out of government. President Walker, you're not George Weah. Uh, The gap between you and George Weah is too huge. When you begin to do like this, it's like Volcano. I go to a job, I say I have 20 years experience. I go there, I say acting like a novice. And all the time, man, you say, well, I thought the guy said he knew better.
You licensed
Mhm.
social worker, and say right one intake plan. Then you get right the
Yeah,
intake plan.
just say we want to not pay for us.
All right, let's hear from Alfonso. Alfonso, coming.
Yeah, Fonzo, yeah,
Uh,
it's new.
I was I was I was muted. Sorry about that. Yeah. So to the extent that a party official holding position in government is prohibited by the code of conduct, that would be wrong. On the issue of physical altercation and possible violence, I didn't see it. I didn't follow it, but I mean, you have stated it. So to the extent that that happens, that is also wrong. And that could, and in my view, should result into you know criminal charges if it rises to that level. Because as an assault, especially if people got injured, and I think law enforcement should play its role. That's the only way that we will be able to address these kinds of things in society. I was, as you guys were speaking, especially as Moses was speaking, I was trying to go back to the core conduct. I mean, I've read it multiple times, but I never remember everything you read. So I tried to go back to it. I'm not sure if the core conduct itself says that you cannot be a party official and hold office, or that you cannot canvass or do active political activities, or that it conflicts with your role. Example, Moses mentioned Moali and other people. Now, uh, does it mean that, say, for instance, if you are a leader of a political party and then the party gets elected into office, that then you cannot hold office in government, or when you hold office in government, you have to resign your role in the party, and vice versa? I think that is something that needs
Let
to
me
be
provide clarification
dealt
for you,
with.
Alfonso, quickly.
Or can you maintain your membership in the party, leadership role in the party? Because, take for example, just as I mean, Eugene Langbe, former finance minister, this, that. They didn't, they were still members of the CDC and still had positions in government. So what exactly does the court say? I think we need to delve into that a little
Okay.
Uh,
Volcano,
uh, oh, oh,
let me provide a clarification,
all right, make that
please.
clarification quick. Let me just play the
Okay.
clip that was
Look,
borrowed from Spoon.
uh, Alphonso,
Speak up, Moses. You know you're using telephone.
the law says that political appointees should not or are not to actively engage in political activities while serving as officials of government. So the law is clear. If the party chairman of the Unity Party is functioning in government, at the same time he administering the daily activities of the Unity Party, that's a violation of that law.
All right, so let's go to a clip here from the infighting.
Yeah.
Moses, that's sufficient. That's all. Listen,
And then
we've
let me
already covered
provide
that.
this information. A journalist from Spoon TV was also assaulted today, only because Spoon had gone there to cover what was happening at the party headquarters. He was physically assaulted.
Okay, let me play this clip. And by the way, we are taking this clip from Spoon Network, so we just want to make that clear. This is not our clip. This is from Spoon Network.
And this individual is seriously preventing me. Folks, as you see, I've been stepped above. Let's hear from this gentleman. He has a Toon t-shirt. You want to talk to Spoon TV? What exactly led to this situation? What's your name, sir? Talk to Spoon TV. Yeah, well, I'm Clinton Human. Okay, Clinton, I see you have a Toon on shirt. Tell us, give us an idea of what happened here. Yeah, we normally come here to my boss at our party forum. Okay. Where we have our discussion of our things. Okay. And over 2 weeks, since the instructions of our own government. Okay. Party officials who were elected, who were elected in office and subsequently were appointed by the president. Okay. And elected the party headquarters. So on the basis of that, we asked them how they should relinquish their position and go to mini convention. Okay. So that we can have another group of people serving at the level of the party. So on the basis of that, we were about to have a conference. Okay. And a bunch of hooligans. From Amos Square who have been submitted in the process. They disrupt the process. They are all from Amos Square office. I know that. So I want you to give us an idea. Did you receive the go-ahead to have this press conference that you intended having here today? There is no part of the Constitution, the United Party Constitution that says we should have or go ahead from the party before having a press conference at our own party headquarters. Okay. Okay. So now, you guys are saying that the party chairman should relinquish his position and allow other folks within the party to do the party's work and focus on his position in government. Is there any constitutional provision that supports your call at this point? We are not saying, get it very clear. Yeah. There's a media. Yeah. We are not saying that they should relinquish their position from the party. We are saying it forbids the code of conduct forbids the activities within the party and that of the government. So we are saying if you want to occupy the position that you are elected for in the government, you should relinquish your position from the party. And if you want to serve in the party, you should also relinquish your position. Have you engaged the chairman personally? Since you are a member of the party, have you engaged the chairman? What did he say to you? Oh, yeah, the chairman is my father. I believe in him. I believe he is at logic. But the fact of the matter, we are saying there's a call, there's a national call. But I see you have tune up shirt. How did it get to this point where your shirt was tuned up? From the office of Amos Square. They are all because they are all around here. They came to attack me. This is how you see my shirt is tuned up. Okay. So what's your name again? I'm Clinton Human. Okay, Clinton, thanks for talking to Spoon TV. At the level of the protocol during the campaign, the national campaign. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for talking to us, Spoon.
So I think that make some clarification here for what we're talking about regarding where the conflict of interest lies, right? With
Mhm.
regards to that. But I see what Amma Fremo, just said here. The CDC and the UP are all the same. Apparently it's just the nature of the Liberian political parties. Where is that degree of civilization? Where are we really wanting to take our country? You put your faith in one organization and you push that organization forward, only for them in less than 4.5 months to do something like this. And if you claim to be the better political party with more of the experience, the intelligence, the knowledge of leadership and all of that, and you go and do this, how long this story been trending regarding, you know, code of conduct and conflict of interest? How long? We've been talking about it in the we as government, even in Ellen's time. And I think the embarrassment for Ellen was, okay, let me just start this code of conduct thing. So it shows that I am listening. And the code of conduct was started in her government. Am I right?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? Even though
Mhm.
it was not followed to the letter, but at least it was on the books. And so the next government of President Weah, of course, you have taken strong desire to implement it to the fullest, and it didn't work out well. But one credit I can give him, Mobile Molu did not hold any political, governmental
Political
position
political position.
as
Yeah.
chairman of the party, at least for him. Now, with Jefferson Koji still going around saying he was Secretary General, but at the same time mayor, then that's the conflict of interest there. But for the
Of course.
party chairman, we can say for a fact that Mobile Molu did not hold any governmental appointed position that we know of by the president. So, like you said, Moses, you were right. How can President Boakai, of 42 years of experience, who frowned on all of the missteps and said there was no leadership, comes back because his man Luther Tabe put few people together. They protest. They made it seem like, okay, we didn't get job yet. Luther said, my son got job, so I would take out to the old man. Old man said, all right, my man, let me quiet you down and go to NPA. But forgetting to know that, oh, the man is state party chairman. Then you said it right. It must do it. Did you
Yeah.
resign? When he went for confirmation hearing, the Senate should have asked him, did you
Question.
resign?
Yeah.
Show me
If
us
you
the
resign,
letter that you wrote to the party that you were resigning as Secretary General
Secretary General.
before we can confirm you. We're not saying that you're not competent to be LPRC managing director, but we don't want a conflict of interest. So a lot of people dropped the ball, okay, on this
Absolutely.
one. And so now here's the infighting in the party. This is shameful. This is embarrassing for a new government that all of us put faith in, that we have made a difference, and will not mince our words to correct these ills. Is the sooner the better. And that is why we started talking about it earlier than later. And here we are. Let me give one of you the opportunity to speak. Maybe Alfonso want to go since you went first. Alfonso,
It's really
you keep
okay. Why is
you keep
really
on
the
muting and
network?
muting yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't want interference as well. Yeah, no, I agree. Totally agree. Especially with the act of violence that occurred there today. As I said earlier, I think the way we can nip that in the bud, really, in terms of people just, sending political hooligans to go and disrupt and attack other people just to get their points across, I think the law enforcement needs to get involved. It's the role and responsibility of law enforcement wherever any act of violence or wherever law is violated to go and step in. Even in people houses when they fight there or they break things, police steps in. Police has the responsibility to go and investigate and to find out what happened, especially if, as is being reported, there was fighting and people got injured or property was damaged in the process. I think
You
we
can see
the country has.
course.
Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, the country has a culture of violence where people can just, grab a group of children or boys from in the street and send them to go disrupt other people's, interactions or gatherings and stuff like that. And I think that needs to be fully addressed. That's the only way we can address the issue of violence, especially political violence in the country, which can really undermine a lot of things, including people's faith and participation in the political process and in public discourse. Having said so, on the issue of enforcement of the code of conduct, I think it needs to be taken seriously by the administration. I want to separate though what happened at the party headquarters today from the administration because they're two distinct entities, even though they're related. Having said so, I think what the administration needs to do is to make sure they send that the police investigates that matter and holds people accountable, so we don't continue with this culture of violence. You can let people go there, break things, start fighting with people, gather their building, party headquarters. Whenever anybody has a different view that you disagree with, then you go and attack them and fight. I think those things need to be dealt with.
Look,
You having
let me
you
just
having
say this.
signal problem, Alfonso. The internet keep. Go ahead,
So,
Moses.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
listen, uh,
Hmm.
what happened at the
Moses,
party
you got to
headquarters?
project.
Yeah, what happened at the party headquarters today, Volcano? It was something that the party leadership instigated. I listened to the former Minister of Justice, Councillor uh, Uwe Johnson. He's a senior executive of the UP. What members of the UP decided to do today was to call on their party executives, the Secretary General, the party chairman, and others who are occupying political appointed positions in government to say, hey, I'm not saying I resign from government, but you can either accept to serve government or you resign and come to serve your party. If you choose to remain a party executive, then you have to resign from government. If you choose to remain in government, we are giving you the opportunity to resign from the party leadership. And according to the councillor, they were doing so in keeping with the code of conduct. The last election in Nimba, you see the double standard of this administration. Did you not see party chairman Tape campaigning? How can you be in government as a senior official and you campaigning for UP policy? I mean, a UP candidates in Nimba. And this is the same government that went after CDC executives who hold pending position and say, hey, we have to let you go because we saw you campaigning. Isn't that a double standard, Volcano?
So River says Pro says here that Eugene Fagon wants drones for LBS. Is it necessary? He wants to be spying on people who taking bathing outside bathroom around LBS. Oh man. So Steve Wilson says here that of course we know that what's his name? McGill was chairman of the party, but after he was appointed state minister, he couldn't be chairman of the party, and that's how Mobile Mo became, chairman of the party because being state minister and de facto president, that's too much work to to concentrate on and to be a party, chairman. In the case of Luther Tape as board chairman, I mean they meet quarterly, so the volume of work is not as it would be for a state minister, but still it's conflict of
The
interest, and
updates.
I think we had did the best by making sure that McGill did not remain in his party position compared to being you know uh, in the case of what we're discussing now. But so, gentlemen, what President Barker should do immediately? This is where I think this is the issue now. We've seen what this has done. It
Yes.
creating tension in the party. There's a complete divide now, as you will see it. Um, there was this lady called Queen Johnson. I think is she was one of the stalwarts and the female who she can be radical, and she was very clear that those guys need to relinquish their post if they want to serve in government. And don't take her for granted. She got her own following. So I can see a divide in the party. So what should the president do immediately?
If I were the president, just as the party executives requested, I will honor that. I will give the party chairman and other executives of the party the option to either go back to their political party or remain in government. If they refuse to adhere, then I will terminate with immediate effect. Yeah. The law is the law. Don't forget now, Joseph Walker said Liberia honor him will not be business as usual. You see where he put himself? He put himself on a pedestal. And people are holding him to what he said on January 22nd, 2024.
And interestingly, you mentioned those around him, because there's security implications if you look at it. So Kofi Woods should have a say in the matter. There's political implications and ramifications here to be taken care of. So Magdala Cooper should be sitting with the president. There's legal issues here. Somebody was
Yeah.
assaulted,
Bushy Bank
right?
Tesa, yeah.
So Bushy Ben
Mhm.
should be sitting there. And other political or other advisors to the president. Alfonso, what do you say to that?
So, in terms of what, uh, going to your first question, which is what President Boakai should do, I think Moses has basically spoken to that. President Boakai should look at the code of conduct and where.
We're losing you. What's going
Yeah,
on, my
I
he
man?
said,
stopped talking because I saw flickering. So let me know if
Okay.
I don't know why it was going on. I mean, switch everything off, except for the two kids. I'm the only one on it now, so I don't know what's going on. I hope nobody's talking. But anyway, yeah, I think if you're hearing me, I think President Boakai needs to take action, as Moses said, bring the people in his administration, because he's the chief law enforcement officer of the country, and say, hey, this is the law, and we need to follow it, and therefore you need to make a choice whether you want to remain within the party or remain government. Again, to the extent that there's a violation in the process. In terms of what happened at the party headquarters today, I think the police doesn't even need to wait for anybody to give them order to go in to investigate, because again, an act of violence took place. Law was presumably broken. People were hurt. You don't wait for the president to give you order. There's nowhere in this country or any civilized society where the police waits until the mayor gives them order or the president gives them order before they intervene whenever the law is broken. So the police needs to not wait for President Bargai. I think President Bargai has a very little role to play in that regard in terms of addressing the acts of violence that and violation of the law that took place at the party headquarters today.
Thank you. So I think we'll lay that to rest. So I wanted us to go quickly to last we were talking about the returnees, right? And we're wondering, I personally was wondering where they were. And only to know now that it's somewhere in Bone County, and that's where they call the transit center, where they are currently stationed. Um, and I think they will be there as they assimilate. And some of those folks came from Bone County originally, so they're trying to resettle within the county, but they had to be at a transit point. And so I was able to surf the internet, and I found something from Spoon, of course. And interestingly, that's what we were talking about the other day. We can't find things from the national media So most of everything that we were called to utilize for public
Okay.
consumption will come from Spoon, and so we want to give Spoon a credit on this one. So this is what you see here as the refugee, and I wouldn't use the word refugee because you can
Returnees.
be refugee in your own country. So they are returnees. Except I'm wrong, but I don't think you can be a refugee in your own country. They
Okay.
returned to the country, so we'll call them returnees. And this is the shelters now that they are building. So what is bubbling is that we knew this was happening. Even this network, about a year, almost two ago, raised small money and gave to the RN, the Liberia Returning Network. So the repatriation was not just yesterday, it's been ongoing. The conversation, the Ghanaian government, the people within the vicinity of Buduburan, the elders, the chiefs, the Ghanaian people said they wanted a land bank for development. And so why they waited until the buses were coming before they decided to start building. So let's see what's going on here.
See the place exactly where we are. So this is Kari Regional Village, and this place is situated here in Bon County, the regional center in Liberia. So we first of all want to take you around to see the various facilities, the places where these people are, Liberians who were recently repatriated into Liberia. So these are the facilities where they are now. We thought it was to show you exactly uh, the areas. All right, so we will take you around. We understand that they are mixed Liberians. Some of them they are family heads. Some of them they don't have family. Some of them they reported they're not ready to that extent. Some of them they are less privileged people. So we are now taking you around and subsequently talk to them and to see what exactly how they feel about this environment where they are now. I see a lot of renovation or construction ongoing. We will start it from right here. All right, so you can see exactly um, the place where they are. So you see, these are temporary, areas, buildings. You see, World Food Program. All right, so we see here. No, they are still constructing areas for them. All right. So we will continue to take you around. All right. We will take you around so you can see for yourself the, where these refugees are. All right. So, all right. So yeah. So these are temporary areas where they are. All right. So we are here live, to show you around. Some of them lay down right on the bare floor. But we will take a look of the various facilities, later on. Let's see how best to hear from the Air Trooper RC representatives, the Air Trooper RC boss, Mr. Patrick Wilson, is here. So let's see. Get to them very quickly.
Yeah, one would like to understand based on the project as to how this project is going.
Thank you so much. I'm here with my honorable lawmaker, who is the chair of the repatriation and resettlement. We are happy to have him in our midst. They told the maximum.
Yeah, please.
Okay, let me answer that. Now we are very happy to have her on board. The project is 100% sponsored and supported by the government of Liberia.
What's your call maybe to other panels in terms of maybe giving helping hand to the government?
Well, we'll have a coordination meeting where and as control and lead is led by the able deputy, Mr. Hall, and we'll keep on contacting with those development partners to come and join us as we address what is emergency issues of confronting us as a country. Okay, the case were in 2002 and now a small number of people bring them back home. It's safety and dignity. And based on promises made, we are hoping that we'll have them. But our development actors, let me use the occasion to officially appreciate the FPRC family that given 500 samples, the NEC that given 250 mattresses. We want to also appreciate the second component, that was of my you see before us, above our second, the SIM cards, other institutions that have helped us. This project, because the concern of the president, have been flagged and placed on the president delivery unit as a priority project. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So excuse me. We'll take excuse me. So we'll take just one. Please take the institution, and then we'll move to Honorable Mary George, who is the chair on.
Okay, sir. I'm Sylvester Chirople, and I work for School Network as the boss for Air Triple RC. We have gathered reports that those refugees who were recently brought into the country, some of them said they are not happy about the state of being where they are. Because some of them say they sleep on the bare floor and they are not in good condition. So, as the head of the Triple RC, what are the plans for them? That you have for them? And I see, temporary constructions ongoing. Can you also tell us exactly these structures that we see here when you started constructing and issues surrounding the repatriation?
Thank you so much. I'm not convinced that the statement made by you, my people, I will consider as sarcastic. I can put that take it to the court and we'll discuss that. I'm not convinced again that the statement made by you, my people. The Honorable Massage had a character to tell her, thank you for allowing us to work for them. So I alone gives my imagination if you say that. I'll give you the invitation to go in and see the evidence is there and they can be the best judge.
Okay. Thank you very much. You talk about the housing authority working in line to make sure that they are, are relocated
soon. The structure on the ground was once ago owned by the Bangladeshi workforce. Okay, continue to have this place, and we decided to use it as a transit center because good number of the case load that came in on the bus trip, about 700 of them are just around the Volcano area. So to make our work easier for supply chain and fleet management, we chose to use that as a transit point. Okay. So the duration, we took almost close to 2 weeks to get it ready. We got pressure on from the Ghanaian government based on the MOU signed, and we should get our go back within a month time.
Okay. Thank you very much. We now move to.
So, at least, Moses, we know now that they are out there, and accordingly, a lot of them came from originally were from the Bone County area, and so that transition would be easier for them to re-assimilate, within the county and the various locales within the area. But yes, I think it's part of the education that a lot of our colleagues and journalists should know that a person who is within that country cannot be a refugee. And idea how Omo all the way in Australia is asking journalists to stop referring to them. And I hope that they don't begin to write in the newspapers, especially to say, oh, Liberian refugees return to Liberia instead of Liberians have returned to their home country. I think it would be better to say it that way. But I just wanted to bring us to speed because I wasn't sure when those group of people came, where did they go? We were more or less assuming that they came through Monrovia, but they didn't even reach to Monrovia. They came through the Ivory
So
Coast
then
and
to
then
midnight,
into
and they
Bon
go down.
County, and yeah, so that where they stopped.
Uh, uh, Let me just say something quickly. We can just by watching that video, you see the tents put up. I mean, it's so sad when you return home that you will bundle people up like that. There's nowhere to cook. I'm not sure if they have any decent restaurant. And you heard a guy from LPPRC saying that, well, when a journalist asked him or talked about people complaining about the living condition, he said that's not true
Mhm.
because he doesn't live there. One thing he forgets to know that when you bundle people up like that, you create room for the spread of diseases easily. Somebody could be, affected with tuberculosis. And the person is in such an environment, and somebody could have other contagious diseases in,
But
in
Moses,
a, in an
Moses, Moses,
environment.
Moses, Moses.
It may just spread.
Yeah, but Moses, let me hold you there. You sit right here in America, and you see when people cross the border, they don't take them
Mhm.
and put them in high rise and mansions. They put them in a holding area where they can do all of the what you call registration, do all the documentation and all of that. What you see over there is a transit point, as he said. And they've
Mhm.
said that people have provided mattresses. Now, I did not prepare him. I think what we should talk about is they waited too long to prepare for the returnees. And
And then coming
they
back to just what I said.
but what I'm saying is that they couldn't have put them in homes. They couldn't have thrown them out there because these people came. Do you know that one of the guys came with a I almost said a shitload of drugs? But excuse my expression.
Mhm.
Did you know that the guy came with
I'm not
drugs?
aware.
Yeah, I can find the story. He was arrested with drugs on that very uh 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 uh, what you call it, that should I say convoy? It
On the
can be a
bus.
convoy. Yeah, it can be a convoy that came. So you got to put them in an area where you can vet them, and then hopefully in the coming days, like I think they were right to say that since all of those people who, because when they were returning them, they were saying where you originally came from, where do you think your people are, and almost all of them came from the Bon County area, which made it easier for the transition. So
Well,
you
that information also kind of, I think it's far from the truth.
what's far from the truth?
So for the people to say that the 700 people we're talking about, all of them came from home country, I want to disagree with that.
But why would you disagree when there's record?
I disagree. I disagree because that number just didn't come from home country. It's a collection of people. It's a collection of Liberians from various countries.
You
I
will
don't
assume
know.
that,
Alfonso,
Moses,
what's your thought?
but you will assume that. I'm seeing that if those people didn't just pack up and left Ghana, they had to tell the people where they came from in Liberia for them to be able to relocate them. Go ahead, Alfonso. Moses, he ready to wear his hat tonight.
Yeah,
Go
so I
ahead.
think so I see this as a bigger picture issue. First of all, if these people have been in Ghana, fled the war in Liberia and went to Ghana, have been in Ghana all of these years, Ghana definitely violated certain international laws regarding refugee resettlement and giving them a path to citizenship or to permanent residence or whatever the case may be. And this is not the first time that Ghana has actually repatriated Liberians back. International refugee law requires that when people flee their countries and come to your place, you don't just keep them in camps perpetually. You give them a path to citizenship, so you can go on the
And not
path
only that,
and begin
not
to
only
earn.
that,
Yeah,
let me help you quick. That even the children who were born there, they're not were not
yeah,
given
They are
citizenship.
not Ghanaians.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So I
exactly.
think that's wrong. All in all, exactly, you're correct. There were children who were born there too. Some of these people have been over there for decades, and suddenly they have have packed them and sent them back to that whatever country they came from, where they've lost all their connections, they don't have homes, they don't have properties, they probably don't know where their relatives are, and then you pack them and send them back. I think that's wrong. I think we should also understand though that as it's good to criticize, we must understand that yes, even though this situation has existed for a long time, but I'm not aware of anything that happened in terms of resettlement, return of these people by the previous administration. Like, I don't know if they have built a tent or done everything. We agree that this process started ever since, but this government really inherited this problem, and just 3 or 4 months into the administration, it would be impossible for them to have built modern facilities and stuff to bring these people back. So it's a complicated situation, especially with all of the other challenges that are on their plate. In terms of whether all of these people came from Bond County, or most of them came from Bond County, so they decided to resettle them there. I think I heard it being said that the reason why they took them there was because many of them came from Bond County. But whether they came from Bond County or not, for me, that wouldn't be the issue because, again, we all know that that's simply just a transit point. So you put them there, you search them, you gave them. If some of them might be sick, as you said, Moses. Some of them might be malnourished. Some of them might have some issues or complications. They all have might have different circumstances. So you put them through a transit point, and that transit point, unfortunately, because it's a transit point, because it's temporary, might not be the best structure or stuff for them. But the idea is to eventually resettle them to into communities that they have relationships, that they have relatives, that they are familiar with. That would be the first step. And the second step, people who are sick or whatever, or you can identify, they can identify where they come from. Then you find a suitable places to settle them at. So I think that's the process. Again, I want to go back to the point of why didn't they do this soon? Why didn't they do that? Of course, they had 3 or 4 months to do that. So it's a challenge that they inherited. And so it's important to be kind of realistic in these conversations as well.
Yeah, and I think you're right because even if they had all the time in the world, uh, anywhere that is a transit point, it almost always looks similar to what it is, and especially a third world country where the budget is so minute when it comes to money put in for these special kinds of activities. The LRRC is highly underfunded, uh, so you wouldn't be expecting them to take them to Ducal Continental Hotel. There's none. Hotel Africa, there's none. So, but at least coming back home and to re-assimilate in your country, it's better than being in a place where they're throwing you out, literally, telling you to leave. But I just wanted to throw light on that. So Moses, we'll go to our other topic for discussion. But just before that, I'd like to quickly remember remind the folks that we're here in the issues room on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate your viewership. We ask that you continue to join us here on these 2 days that we come to enlighten, bring you events coming out of our country and discussing it. And at one point, we'll open the lines, but we'd like to welcome Rivers Pro, Orlando Kringa, Flomo Livingstone, of course. Good to see you here tonight. Dear Umo, Christopher Wesley, it's a pleasure having you in the house with us. Kopo Koli Mia, welcome to the show here tonight. Thedes Colette, good to see you. Amar Fremo, of course, it's always good to see you, my brother. Welcome, Hashim Fambule. Jamima J. Cisco says she's watching from Pinsville, Minnesota. And Pinsville, Minnesota, matter of fact, I have a story. Moses, I think you remember when we went to North Dakota,
Yeah.
we I told you about Pinsville, Minnesota. There are
Yes,
two
you did.
Pinsvilles in the world: the Pinsville, Minnesota, and the Pinsville, Montserrat County, Republic of Liberia. And I'm happy to be a citizen of the Pinsville of Liberia. So the Pinsville of Minnesota, um, is the sister city. Now, I will hope that the mayor out there in Painesville, Liberia, can try to link up with the Painesville, Minnesota, to form some kind of sistership, and hopefully they can help. But Painesville, Minnesota, is the second Painesville to Painesville, Liberia. So good to see you out there, Ms. Cisco. Thank you for joining us here from our sister city, Painesville, Minnesota. You want us to talk about the situation with former President Donald Trump, and who is the Republican candidate in the making for the November's election this year.
Mhm.
In fact, I'm sure you've received your uh, documents from the Elections Commission asking you for, to fill up if you're going to vote. I've already got my stuff. I'm certificated. You want to see my political party? I'm ready to go to vote. Everything is all set. And here we are with Donald Trump being convicted of all charges. Let's start with the conversation on your end. You've been in the chat room, the Aja chat room. You've been throwing stuff out there. So let's start with you, and then we'll go to Alfonso, who has the legal intelligence here, and then I will be the one in the neutral stance. Because first, I must make this disclosure: I'm a Republican, and I like to
You
say
just
that
took it out of my mouth.
that I'm a registered Republican, and but I will be as neutral and understanding of the circumstance tonight. So I'll let the two of you debate the issue. Let's talk about where is Donald Trump at this point. Does he still have a chance uh, to run in November, or he may go to jail?
Very good question. But let me just take a second before I get evicted tonight by my wife.
She's a
Today is a
Republican.
very big day in my
Oh,
household. Today is my wife's birthday. So I want to wish Mrs. Maron Chitinimne Sandy happy birthday, good health, uh, prosperous future, and many returns. It is coming from me, our daughters, and the rest of the family members. Maron, we love you, we appreciate you, and we wish you well in everything you do. I know we got a special plan, but I'm not going to disclose that yet.
did you just knock on the door and say, Moses, don't forget about me on your
She
studio
knows
door?
her husband will never do that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but
uh,
let me
this
quickly
woman is my
interrupt you.
pillar.
Let me quickly interrupt you and say, on behalf of the Issues Room, Myron is a sister. She's a mother to the platform. She's a supporter to the platform, a strong supporter, one who stands behind you and an advocate for the cause of the Liberian people. So we say the Issues Room who's you many, many more happy returns of your natal day. Alfonso, Moses, and myself. I know his capacity is different from us, but as colleagues of the Issues Room, we want to wish you many more happy
Yeah,
returns and long life, good health. Because if you remember, my little small talk the other day had to do with the three high importance of
yeah,
values: life, health, and relationship. And I think we pray that she
indeed.
enjoys those three things. Money can come down the road, but those three things are important. Alfonso.
Thank you. Now let's go
No,
back to
definitely.
our
Moses,
situation.
okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Something
going to
just
use this public medium to also say, yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
was
go
going
ahead.
to
Go ahead.
use this public medium to also say happy birthday to Myron, but let her know that I will call her later today.
No, go ahead.
She's a sister.
Go ahead, Alfonso. Go ahead.
No, no, that I just did. So
It's
happy
done.
birthday to Myron, and I will call Myron later today. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Alfonso. Now, let's come to former President Donald Trump, who also is a presidential hopeful. What happened yesterday? The conviction of a former president in the world of first nation, the United States. It is something that all nations of the world, should be proud of. America demonstrated to the world that it is a country of rule of law. This does not in any way suggest that America is a perfect society. You and I live here. There are challenges, but at least the Americans are being able to demonstrate that no one, regardless of title, is above the laws of the country. Mr. Trump was convicted on 34 felony charges. Each of those charges carry a fine of $4,000. So if you do the math, just in fines, you're talking about $170,000. Each of those charges, as I was researching also, I learned that each of them carry 20 years imprisonment. So if you do the math again, that's several years of imprisonment if they go strictly by that. But the ruling also showed that Mr. Trump has some opportunity. For the fact that he has no criminal record, no past criminal record, if the judge chooses, Mr. Trump may not go to prison. He can be put on probation. When he's put on probation, the fear that most Republicans have, and even the Trump family, is that if he's put on probation, supervised probation, meaning that he will have to report to a probation officer on a regular basis. While on probation, if he engages in anything that is considered criminal, he can be picked up from there immediately and thrown into prison. So the Republicans and others who are jubilating, they need to be mindful that Donald Trump being who he is, the chances are very slim. If he goes and decides to drink a glass of wine, get tipsy, he gets into violence, that will be considered violation of the probation. And he will be going to prison, former president. Again, the judge may decide, since Mr. Trump has no past criminal history, no past conviction, they may decide to give him 4 years imprisonment if they don't put him on probation. He's supposed to be sentenced in July of this year. The law also provides or gives him the opportunity to file an appeal. And it is my understanding that his legal team is currently working on filing an appeal with the Supreme Court. So let's see how that's proceed. Now, whether he is qualified to run as a presidential hopeful, yes. The American Constitution says 3 standards to be able to contest in any, to contest for any elected position, especially at the level of the presidency. The Constitution has 3 requirements. 1, you must be a natural born citizen of the United States. That means Moses Sandy, Volcano Shelton, Alphonso Jr. sitting here are not qualified to contest the presidency, even though we are citizens of this great country.
I'm not citizen. Why you would jump on and say even though we are citizens? Speak for yourself.
The Constitution.
Why you just jump on and start declaring all your men as citizens? Just say we're not born here. Oh man.
But we are journalists. Your life is an open book.
No, that's not true. I got nothing on anywhere to say I'm citizen of America. Don't go there with me. I told you, don't if you put in your hat on,
With the
Stay in
shelter
your
of a
lane.
U.S. citizen, I'm sure my brother Alfonso is not going to keep it secret yet. We are all citizens of this great country. But coming back to Donald Trump's situation, you have to be a natural born citizen. You must be 35 years old. And you must have lived in the United States for 14 years. Once you meet those three, qualifications, whether you are a felon or not, the U.S. Constitution will not, will not in any way forbid you from contesting.
So it means that the people, the voters, will be the one to make that decision
Yeah,
if
the
you are a
voters
felon.
now, the voters can say, well,
Yeah.
this man was convicted.
So
When you are charged with felony, it means that you committed a crime against the state. So, and this is actually going to play out in the election because of Volcano. Honestly, I would ask myself, if I'm going to vote for a felon to be president of this great country, then what do I tell my daughter? Right now, if I want her to do well, you
Alfonso,
know,
let's hear from you.
yeah.
So Moses went through all of the requirements of becoming president stuff, so I won't touch on those. What I would do is just look at the possibilities in terms of sentencing, where he can be sentenced for, and the other aspects of it. So yes, I think I want to begin by saying that his trial and conviction are only a testament to the rule of law, to the fact that there must be rule of law in the world, I should say, and that there's rule of law in this country, and the law is the law, and the law must take its course regardless of who the person is. Actually, that's the concept of the law being blind. He violated the law. He went through the legal process. We must make the distinction that the trial was a state trial because he committed state crimes, or so did my D. Well, I shouldn't even say so the DA in Manhattan said, because the jury has convicted him of committing crimes. So because it's a state crime and he was prosecuted and convicted under state law, he cannot be pardoned under these under by he cannot pardon himself if he were to be elected president, and he cannot be pardoned by a federal official, meaning the president or whoever. The
Can
governor
he,
of the state,
can he be pardoned by the governor?
yeah, the
Yeah,
governor of the state of New
government
York,
system.
the governor of the state of New York can pardon him, but he cannot be pardoned by federal officials, especially the president of the United States. So that's one thing. In terms of sentencing, um, Judge Marchand, who presided over the case, will determine what sentence to give Donald Trump. And I think Moses kind of alluded to some of the considerations that a judge will use, which is that he's a first time non-violent offender. So that will play into that, and that usually plays into sentencing for a lot of people. This will not be unique to Mr. Trump. Um, so yeah, this is a non-violent crime. This is his first crime he's been convicted of, related to this, and it's non-violent. So they might take that into consideration, and that's where I think prison term might not factor
So
in
let me
this case.
understand. Let me understand something quickly here. Most of all of this,
Mm,
does it have to do with perjury? Is it the basis for for this whole thing? Because he may have
no,
lied.
no. So
Is the
this has not.
It's the
Sorry,
stormy whatever Daniel's case, right?
yeah, but this
Looks like
has nothing to do with perjury.
the hush
So
the hush money, close your mouth. We
the
had
hush
some
money,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
making payment to
So
but
even
what
the hush money.
I was gonna say
So he
what
was not even prosecuted.
yeah,
Sorry,
because
go
that
ahead.
would be a
Sorry.
man's private life. I was thinking that would be a man's private life. You know, why would they want to make an issue out of a man's private life prior to him coming to the presidency?
So he was
yeah,
not prosecuted for paying. he was not prosecuted for paying hush money. He was not even. That's not what it was. So he wasn't prosecuted for that. That's not what he was convicted for. People do that a lot of times in the business world. And other people do NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. So you can go to somebody and say, "Hey, this happened. Don't talk about it. It's a contract between the both of you." It's usually not a violation of the law. That's not why he was prosecuted for. The prosecution is that he falsified business records in the pursuit of another crime. Tommy, when he paid Stormy Daniels, oh my God,
Like this Tommy Daniels
Your internet.
2016.
You know what?
so
You need to increase your gig, my
I'm
man. I'm
sorry, I
using 8 gig
stopped.
now. If you're using megabyte, you on your own in the basement. You using megabyte.
Well,
Is it
you
a
can.
RCN? Is it a RCN
I'm not
30
using,
megabyte?
man. I got, but man, I got 500 megabytes with how do you call it?
You talking? I
Xfinity
see
from
gig stuff.
Xfinity.
Oh, me, I'm talking
Uh,
about gigabyte. You
I
talking
say
about
acting like
megabyte?
in La Bro.
You talking megabyte? I'm talking about
mhm.
gigabyte. You using gig.
And
Well,
acting like in La Bro
well,
in the center.
All right.
well,
The
and I
issues
don't
when
have
you
a
come
studio like you,
to
but and I don't have a studio like you, and I have just two TVs and one laptop, so it should work. But besides the point. But let me make the clarification about the case. So this is not about Stormy
Thursday using
Daniels. He
PC.
wasn't prosecuted for Stormy.
Yeah, June
Yes.
See?
Thursday using
You said
Metro
a
PC.
Metro PC. One out of
so I need
the
so I need to call
phone, you know.
Xfinity, see what's going on with that. I need to call Xfinity and see what's going on with that. But yes, it's Xfinity, Mr. Davis. It's not Metro PCS. But going back real quickly, in his attempt to cover up for Stormy Daniels, he falsified business records. So he made Cohen to pay Stormy Daniels, and then he went into his business money, the Trump organization, took money from there to pay Cohen back, and he paid Cohen back. Then he what he did was he indicated on the record something else, that it wasn't to pay Cohen for Stormy Daniels, it was to pay Cohen for a different job that Cohen did for him. That is falsification of business
And
records.
that would have allowed him to write off his tax, maybe.
Yes. And so that's falsification of business records that led to tax violation, that also led to election law violation, because now he did that. He tried to shut Stormy Daniels up, so that because he didn't want the affair, whatever they had, to interfere with the election process. So that's why he did it. That the pursuit of the other crimes. The other crimes are tax crimes, election law crimes, etc., that were committed by falsifying those business records. That's what took it. Falsifying business record itself is a misdemeanor, but because he did it in pursuit of another crime, which is election interference crime, it now becomes a felony. That's why he was charged and prosecuted for felonies, not misdemeanors. So technically, he wasn't charged for paying Stormy
I
Daniels,
just want you to take
but
30 seconds
he
and
wrote
wrap
it
this up.
off on his
I
tax
have,
paper. Yeah,
I just want you to take 30
yeah.
seconds and wrap this up.
Go
I
ahead.
have another
That's
question
it.
in line. Are you good with that? All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do
No, so
we
I'm done. I'm done.
okay, so how do we apply this scenario to our Liberian setting? Where a president, former president, can still be held accountable for crimes committed, with the potential to go to jail, and with also the potential to not be able to vie for the presidency. How can this be applied in our setting When we say, "Oh yeah, lead a man," that girlfriend been in can't the and the woman are looking for man, or what the woman said wanted to enjoy the man are money man, or look at it, the man I pay the money already. Why you behind the man for? You know how can we apply this to the Liberian setting with everything we said about former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who openly said, "I take blame and responsibility for the damage done to Nokal," to President Weah, who we openly know, did a lot of stuff. It was glaring. It was all over the place. Gonna walk away scot free, and maybe President Barker would be the same. So, how do we apply this to our setting?
Well, what I would say, Volcano, is that
So
what happened yesterday has formed a complete accord between America and third world countries, including Liberia. Like you said, in Liberia, when our political leaders do something wrong, when they are
Moses,
accused of
you gotta
crime,
push up, yeah.
I say in Liberia, when our political leaders do something wrong, when they are accused of crimes, anyone who raises his hand to speak out, that person is labeled as an enemy. Oh, they hate the man. I mean, hate that man. He doesn't like to see the ground the man walks on. Take, for example, the current situation today in Monrovia regarding those UP executives that came together and say, "Hey, Mr. President, this is absolutely wrong." If you go to Liberia today, you're going a very UP cycle. And even people who are closer to President Boaka, they will begin to label those people as enemies
Of
of
UP.
the party because they are speaking the truth. They are holding their leaders accountable. In Liberia, most third world countries, you will do that, you are considered an outcast. Oh, my man, and may bring our business also. My man, everything, he think he better than other people. Once you try to do the right thing, Mrs. Sally said she takes what the blame for what happened at Luka. What came for out of that case? Nothing. The $25 million that Mr. Weah Samuel Tue and the other people looted from the coffers, the Liberian government. What came up from out of that? Nothing. When Mr. Weah woke up one morning and started lining our homes, private homes, did you not hear citizens say, "Oh, this man came to the presidency with $80 million"? When the man told down his 9-3 resident on official condition, anyone who said anything about that, that person was labeled an enemy of the Weah administration. When they came from out of the when after the people voted against them. When Mr. Barker and his people came and asked for an audit, they said that witch hunt. And everywhere you turn, you go to the Ministry of Information, the man say, "Oh, man, I can't have met only one functional vehicle." You go to the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Transport say, "I met 3 cars, but only one is functional." You go to the Water and Sewer, the man say, "Oh, I met only $68,000 in the bank account." You go to LBS, the man say, "Oh, I can't have met a place here broke." Somebody said $100,000 left there. Everywhere you go, there are complaints. There are complaints about theft. But anyone who says something about that, that person is considered an enemy. We don't hold our people accountable. We don't. We promote them, we celebrate them, and let me narrow it down to Stanton Witherspoon. The three of us here now, people will say, "Oh, Momento guys on the talk show, the issue room, they hit Mr. Witherspoon." But all we are saying that Witherspoon, you committed a crime and you must pay for what you did. You see how our society is? Yeah.
So Alfonso, I mean, with everything Moses is lamenting, it tells us that we haven't even learned. And this sets the bar globally. The fact that a former American president can be brought to book and to be found guilty on all charges, that speaks volume to the democracy and the adherence of the rule of law in this nation. And those of us who are practicing the democratic tenets, we must conform to this same image. Liberia, in particular, that borrows everything from America. But the other day, when they put people on sanction, they say, "Oh,
Yeah, they hit the
they
people.
hit the people. This is all political construct." You walk away, you're taking money from the road fund, and you take it and use it for something else. You don't go through the process through the legislature. You just do things arbitrarily, and you do it with no impunity. And we continue to recycle the same behavior to the point that presidents come, they just run the country like, I'm the president now, so
Mhm.
I'm the power. Alfonso.
Yeah, you're right. And how do we do what America did? First of all, we have very similar laws. So our laws and American laws are almost exactly the same, the twin. We copy from them. So we have those laws that said no president is above the law. And once nobody's above the law, period, including presidents. And a president, when he or she leaves office, can be prosecuted for, acts of corruption and, criminal activities that they committed. So our law does say that we can actually prosecute those people. Now let's go
And I
back
want
to,
I want
go
you to
ahead.
hold that thought while I eject this so you can focus on it briefly.
Mm,
You see how I said the old man, a wicked old man, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and I'm not ashamed to say, or I'm not afraid. It's my right as a Liberian. The old man took Judith Bryan down the drain on corruption charges. And she openly admitted to corruption because for accepting that Lokal was mismanaged by her son. That's conflict of interest, right? You take
Yeah,
your son and you put him over the very investment that our country, for the first time, no, we even have oil. Everything gone to drain. We don't even know what's going on. And you're walking away scot free and you want to dictate and you're sitting down enjoying life. Nothing happened to it. But you were in
mhm.
became
Exactly.
president, you took an
Mhm.
interim president and drag him to court, walk him to court in handcuffs. Talk about that before you make that point. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yep. No, no, and that was a very good example that you gave, because one of the things I was going to do was to give a list, not an exhaustive list, but a few countries that have prosecuted former presidents before. So Liberia is one of them. We actually prosecuted Judy Bryant for corruption. Argentina, Brazil, Croatia, France, etc. Our Israel have Italy have prosecuted and sent former presidents to jail. America is actually new to the game. But the point I wanted to make is that yes, so we have those laws and we can do it. And I appreciate what Moses said in terms of what in the Black administration people took over and went to these agencies and say, "Oh, we met this day, or this was missing. There's no child." I appreciate all of that. I think they should do it. Think they should let the Liberian people know the state of government entities as they met them. But I think they need to do more. They need to go beyond just telling us this is what we did. There are government entities and institutions that are available and that assign the duties and tasks of actually going over there and doing audits and holding people accountable. It's not enough to just say, I met one car here. Why you met one car there? How many cars were there before you got there? How many cars did the government pay for that were at that place? Let's investigate and let's hold people accountable. I'm glad that President Boakai set up the Asset Recovery Commission, but I think it's moving very slowly. I think it started on a wrong footing. It's not doing this job well. We have the auditing commission. I think they need to do their jobs and they need to hold people accountable. The fact of the matter is, it is not that Liberia doesn't have the laws. It's that Liberian leaders simply do not have the willpower or haven't mustered the willpower to hold people accountable. It's the fact that our institutions, this is cultural, which is unfortunate, our institutions charged with investigating and holding people accountable are not doing their job. Take the Anti-Corruption Commission, for example. That is the reason why the law was made such that members, commissioners of the Anti-Corruption Commission are given tenure. They cannot be removed by the president. for doing their job. So now they have the protection to go after anybody. They don't even have to wait for the president to say, go investigate Nathaniel McGill and all these people who were sanctioned, go investigate former President Weah. They have the responsibility and the power to go and do it. One of the changes that were made to the Act of the Anti-Corruption Commission was to give them prosecution power. When the law was first passed, it was you have to take the case to Justice Ministry, and you can own it, and you don't have direct prosecutorial power. You have to take the case to Justice Ministry. Now they don't have to do that. So now they can go after people and say, "Hey, we investigated and we're going to prosecute this person." That's what happens in civilized, accountable societies like the United States and other places. And I think those are the things that begin to happen. So I should begin to happen. I just want to end on this note real quickly, which is the issue of what happened at the UP headquarters today. I think the UP people who are insisting that these people should move or be removed have a path that they should follow. We can't always just break into offices or go and start confusion. That's not going to take us anywhere. They can actually go to court. I was thinking about it. They can go to court. They can go to court and sue the government of the Republic of Liberia and say they're violating the code of conduct, and let the court make a decision and force them out of power. They can sue the Unity Party and say these people are violating. They can even call for a meeting or convention to address those issues. But going and getting involved, this whole idea of I'm concerned about this because we've seen a lot of this. Well, when people have grievances, the first thing that happens is that a fight breaks out. Fight breaks out. You go rush to the party headquarters, or you rush to this place. You nobody entering here today. We're coming to fight. We need to get away from those things and begin to use the legal process and challenge those institutions that we have. That's why they exist. I just want to end there.
Thank you, Alfonso. It's 8:26, and I'd like to add when you guys talked about government procurements around the different institutions in government. Where is Mary Broad? She should have given an inventory as the persons who purchase it. That woman said corrupt, my man. I tell you, she just on the cannot pay, but she herself, because why should people walk into the bloody places and can't find things and they don't hold her accountable? She should have procurement records. How many
Yeah, for
vehicles
other
went to this
vehicles,
place?
yeah.
How many in office equipment went to this place? All of these things she should be bring. In fact, she's the one should be standing confirmation hearing. Then when she produced the document, then it will help the anti or what do you call not anti what do you call them the
Anti-Corruption Commission.
no, not the one that going around the recovery, the asset
Oh,
I
recovery.
said
yeah,
recovery. I said
as
recovery.
recovered.
Yeah, then it will have because they will use that inventory to be able to determine where these things are. So Mary Brown sitting down and acting like LEC policeman. No, she also got problem. We got too many people in problems and they're acting like they're the Christian core that we
Mhm.
say in the Liberian parlance, the Christian core in our country, and they just under the canopy, just there enjoying in the limelight, but they're not doing anything to really impact the status quo. They're just doing whatever is called the business as usual. But this government has a lot of work to do, and interestingly, we just thought to share this. Any one of you can find memory lane and do it so we can wrap up quickly. Memory lane, I
Alfonso Polo.
Let me yeah, let me see if I can find it. I think he posted something in he might have posted something in the community chat. Community. So let me
Did he repeat the same thing?
no, he
The
followed
message?
something,
so
some program and women
no
program.
memory lane. God bless the woman.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
God bless the woman. Yeah.
Can you do that?
All right. Yeah. All right. Memory lane by yeah. So memory lane by Dr. Imane Sumo. God bless the woman. Recently, I had the opportunity to serve as keynote speaker at a women's conference. Given the short notice, I could not think of a topic unique for the occasion. However, I accepted the honor. Upon being introduced to take the stage, I was still not groomed to a topic, yet I felt confident. And lo, I saw a boy who became good friends from elementary school days through high school, then to college and eventually to career professionals and they both became husband and wife. Their wedding was one of envy because it was blessed by both parents, friends, and relatives. Unfortunately, the girl who was turned into a very beautiful woman could not get a job and a child. Her life suddenly changed for the worst as she began to spend most of her days crying and praying to God for a child and a job. She turned into a sad woman. The husband enjoyed a top and well paid job. He drove the best of cars and bought one of the best homes. He turned his wife into a slave and mocked her of her shortcomings in life. He lashed insults at her on a daily basis. He called her names and soon forgot all the hardships they shared together in the past. He was very mean and arrogant toward her. One day he finally decided to ask her out of the home. He packed her belongings and threw them at the outside gate. A stranger sitting in his car nearby watched as the woman was ill treated. She begged and pleaded for mercy to her husband, but to no avail. As the husband walked away and locked the gate behind him, the lady stood in disbelief and frustrated. The stranger from his car approached the lady and offered to take her in his home. With no choice, the lady accepted. Not knowing his intention, and after 5 days of good care in the stranger's home, it was time to manifest his intent. On the sixth day, he got tied up and prepared for ritual. Then the lady pleaded with the stranger, saying, I'm ready to be used for ritual as you desire. You are not doing me any wrong. The one whom I gave my life to is the one who allowed you to do this to me. But allow me to write a message to my husband. Promise me that you will place the note on his gate where you picked me up from. Make sure no one sees you when placing the note on his gate. I do not want you being caught and punished for my sake. After all, he doesn't know you. The stranger agreed, and this is what she wrote. Quote, My dear husband, I want you to thank yourself for our journey up to the end of my life. These are my last words to you because the morning news will headline the decomposed body of the woman you claimed to love. I'm being killed and used for ritual, and all credit goes to you. But in my final place of perpetual rest, I will pray for you. I pray that you find her and she will get the best job I could not get. She will bear you children that I did not bear. In all, let our memories ring. Would you name your girl child after me? Since the child who promised my love and I'm dying loving you. Today I pray for you. Goodbye. Unquote. And fellow Liberians, we all claim to love each other. We all claimed to love our country, Liberia. Yet, like the two men in this story, we lead paths of destruction of our motherland. We lead our beloved country into the hands of self rituals. Politics is not an enemy battleground. It is a discourse of policy divergence. It is like IE and Barrow, like Barman, Cedar, St. Joseph, or Young Eagles, LBR Sierra's junior professionals, Lamco enforcers. It doesn't matter who wins. We remain one people, one nation. Women have been there and are still there behind every successful man. Silently, they speak wisdom. But the stubbornness of a man's heart deprives the disadvantage. Women are God sent guidance. Listen to them, follow their wisdom, and let Liberia shine again. God bless the woman. I come in peace.
All right, thank you. A little marathon tonight, but let's go to what type of country is this? So what type of country is this, Moses? What type of country is this? Is this when the ruling party is now fighting among themselves?
And the ruling party,
What type of country is this?
when the
Unless
secretary general
you know, Moses,
and the chairman of the ruling party cannot even go to their own party headquarters.
you know the interesting thing, right? Right? It's so early. It's so early. What type of country is this? My man, the chair me
Man,
t-shirt.
it's the fight. It's the fight for jobs. It's the fight for power and jobs in Liberia. That's what it is. Power and jobs.
Well, but
The
look,
name of the
the guy
game.
is actually worst.
But you know, interestingly,
Uh,
right? Moses, let me
eh,
say this quick.
yeah,
I was in Liberia. Everybody said, hey, my man, don't let you to hustle, eh? Yeah, my man. I said, my man, you know what it means to work at the will and pleasure of somebody? I'd rather push my cartoon than to work at the will and pleasure of somebody.
all
You
the man
know?
wake up one morning
Yeah,
and
he
say,
said he
"Mommy, I
won't see
want
me.
to
Let me
marry
go back.
you."
Let me go back to the fatherland and push my cartoon. Because the partisans themselves ain't got job yet. Then that man and me will get job from the outside. He has to pay. I'm gonna leave my leg, push my cartoon, work there, and go sit down like Eugene
That's
Falcon.
what it is. Yeah.
Eh?
Yes. We are listening to the people Volcano. The people say when they call their own official, then they don't answer the phone.
No more, no more. What type of country is this? Yeah, the
So they
country, my
say,
man.
so they say, you know what? Let's go on strike and remove the men in. Yeah, let's move the men in because they're not answering our phone. Let's go strike and
They
remove
say
them.
you call the party chairman, the secretary general, the very use the answer to the first time they say you call my man straight up voicemail.
My man, you that voicemail. Somebody gave me something to carry to a Liberian government official. Tap brass.
Yeah.
I call the man phone, it doesn't ring. It just don't ring. That's
Can
the
you
man
imagine?
number. It just don't ring. I don't know. Excuse me, I don't know how he set it up, but it just don't ring. And I carry something to
Yeah,
give him.
reject.
So I get to the person say, my man, I'm
Reject
wasting my
calls.
time. River says pro calling. Let me merge it in. Mr. Pro, hold on. Mr. Pro.
Hey, what's going on, Volcano?
My man,
Moses, how you doing?
my man, you say you River says pro, then you sit down there and go let Bill 12 become senator in your county. After all the thing the man did, you say you pro, you want to talk plenty here tonight, I will deal with you.
I mean, reverse, reversal politics is
But the man, but,
you know that one guy
Volcano, the man was supporting. The man was
called
supporting Bill 12.
You see, Alphonso
Whereas the
said he
yeah.
pro
was
was supporting Bill 12.
Yo, man. I mean, I wanted the guy. Let me tell you, all the people they put sanction on, people who know me, they Nathaniel McGill, they play Traore. I don't know. I'm not a fan of those guys, especially McGill. Yeah, I don't know. Those guys just, I yeah, I was never a fan of Bill Traore, yo. But reverse politics, they got one guy called Bon Kofi in that place.
Uh-huh.
That guy, he's the prince. He's reverse version of Prince Johnson.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, everybody that goes through that guy. You know, Emmanuel Yato left from the United States. That guy did a lot of work over there. Look at even our man or what he named Asif Atukwa. My man, you look for
that the
America.
guy that built the school, the guy, the Yato guy, he's the one who built the school.
Yeah, you have to build school. Other people taking whatever. That Bob Kofi got an old rebel for some reason. For Ghana, you gotta go through the guy. If you don't go through that guy, your whole campaign has.
But a man holding the grounds, you gotta go through
Oh
the
yeah,
grounds. Yeah,
oh
but man,
yeah.
why you call? What type of country is this?
So what kind of country? So I want to ask specifically about the drone your man recommended. I mean, you guys are in the broadcasting business and veteran journalists. And you know, I asked a question earlier on. I mean, what's the purpose of the drone? I mean, is it something that I mean, you guys been working with the entity for long? Is this something that was in the pipeline year? I mean, back then we didn't know about drones and things, but I mean, looking at old journalism, I mean, bringing back the old days, would it be something that you guys really anticipated? I mean, what is the necessity of using a drone? What is its purpose? Because I heard a story, but I just didn't get the detail. Do you think it's necessary? Yeah, I want mine to put some of that outside bathroom on.
But
Why a
but
man
my
need
man,
drone? Can you please tell me?
in this modernity, you shouldn't be using outside bathroom. That's the first thing.
My
But
man,
anyway,
River said they still get outside bathroom. What you talking about, my man?
yeah. But hold on now. So I think drone provides
for images.
drone provides some images that's necessary. And
Okay.
if you're looking at television for television
Mm-hmm.
purpose, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, if you want to say Monrovia is developing, you can't do it
Mm-hmm.
from on the ground. You go in the air
Okay.
and you're able to say these are
I give you the
the
shots from
constructions
there.
work that's going on. The city image is changing, the
Okay.
cleanliness of the city and all of that. Now, if the drone go catch you, one old man taking bath, outside bathroom, you know, then we'll edit it. We'll not leave it there. We'll take it to the studio and edit it, but we'll not put it there. So so the drone will not be picking up things and just throwing it out there. That's why in television editing would do that. So the drone is necessary. It's an important uh, device to use for the purpose of enhancing uh,
Use coverage.
more coverage in places where the naked eye can just go and see, especially from the ground.
So prior to the drone, what did you guys because back then you guys were effective, LBA was effective EFBC. So I know drone were not used then.
No,
So what
absolutely,
did you guys
drones were not
so
used, but
so what did you guys use to
there,
get a
there, were-
message across?
but there were photo imagery coming from the skies. They were using helicopters, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
And
were
then
using airplane to get
Okay.
sky images. So some of the old pictures you see of Monrovia's, from Monrovia from the skies,
Hmm.
they were used by helicopters. They were used by aeroplanes,
Oh,
to
okay.
catch those kind of footages.
and
And
then
now drone makes it easier
if I
because
if I
it's
could just
coming
say
Moses,
something
so it
quickly.
comes closer than the airplane. You can
Oh, okay.
because you're able to set its feet how far you want it to go high and to cover
Hmm.
certain dimensions of where that photo image may be picked up.
Oh, oh, okay, okay.
Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah. And Volcano is good that you provided that clarification because the phones are used specifically for
Moses, we can
targeting.
hear you.
Yeah, what I was saying is that the drones are used for specific, areas. They are targeted areas, gathering of images. So those days that we never had our opportunity. So for example, the LBS of the 90s and the 80s, they have multiple cameras, mounted at various locations. So they were beaming images that went through transmitters, and that's how live events were covered. So they would say, okay, we'll go to camera one, and Volcano is there. Image will come from Volcano, and then I go to camera two. So now the drone, is going to take that place.
Yeah,
You know,
but the
yes,
clarification here is drone taken from the air.
yeah. The
Cameras were
drone
taken
flies. It flies.
from the ground. So
Mhm,
if you're doing an OB, you capturing from the ground. Drones
mhm.
capture from the air. And even television stations here, what's his name? Roses Pro are using drone now
Yeah.
for air shots.
Mm-hmm.
Pro, are you there?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. I just
Yeah.
wanted that clarification. You're thinking because
You see,
that's
Okay.
your area
you
of
bring that
specialization.
possible.
All right. So
All
tell the
right.
old man to move on
My
the
my
outside.
only concern my
All right.
only concern with that.
Announce when the drone coming and say, "Oh man, don't take him by the drone can't set it down."
Hey,
no,
but man,
no,
the whole West Point, but that one other thing about us, a
no,
whole West Point.
but listen now, we'll put an announcement or be public service announcement. The drone will be coming and this is a so down. Don't take him by
Will
outside.
be in Yukutan today. Oh.
What type of country is this that you
Uh,
gotta make announcement that the drone coming so people get to by outside? What type of country is this? All right,
All
bro.
right, my man. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you, man.
yeah. And Moses, what type of country is this? That you got to make prior announcement that the drone coming. Oh, no, 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 you're not taking my house out. Alfonso,
Say no, nobody should take by bucket.
no baby buggy. Oh. Oh, LIV, my man. Our country, my man, that country is bloody well interesting. Oh. Ah, my man, who can change this country now?
Volcano.
Eh?
What type of country is this, my man? People walk all in a pool water, my man. This time, my man, when they call, nobody from the UP leadership can pick up that phone call.
And as soon as people water, the way soon when people water dirty.
And the boys were sweating. They were really had seen that before sweating.
Can you imagine you sweating
After
in
the
the rain?
election, my man.
Can you imagine you sweating in rain? Wow. What?
After the election, my man.
Man,
All the party executives abandoned the party headquarters.
once the man got a job, the party can wear.
I leave my man
No,
John we
hold
had
on.
that day
No,
well.
they say the party can wear the 2028. We'll come back. We'll come back to start campaign.
Not given the job we had there, you know, those boys meeting the party headquarters every day they were doing ZKO.
Oh yeah, no, man.
But the UP people, my man, they abandoned their own party headquarters.
Alphonso, you frozen? I think I meant frozen. Yeah, you frozen.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta work.
Are you frozen, Alphonso?
Call the people. The man frozen. You can see.
Yeah, the man, yes, you know, now they drunk on the man.
the drone on you. The drone went in the man basement.
I remember said drove.
You see the man go. The drone went in the basement. Yeah. So the man abandoned the party. So the man gonna be. The man was just waiting for the presidential appointment. So the man gonna be. And your man banned you. Your man Luther Tabe banned you. Eh? that indirect G that man bounce.
Yeah.
You believe it? Man say,
Yeah.
I'll put you together. You go protest. Then I'll let you coming to me so I can receive you and put pressure on the old man. You'll find something for me.
Yeah.
Like very interesting country, but what?
Yes, man.
Only Jesus Christ can help us now, my man. I don't know what's how we're going by.
It's self-centeredness,
and
my
you
man.
know the funny thing, everybody talking about 2029. 2029 will be the same 6 and 7 book of Moses. Nothing will change. You gotta see political
money they want you again,
political people going back. Even the new breeds of politicians will not make thousands of a difference.
Man, no more than what e-commerce money again, yo. The comments not everybody rally around. They say, probably you can make it.
No, but you see Snow coming Spain. He said he won't be president. He said the man doing every Snow. So I think my man we gotta go to the MPP or go eat some of that money too.
Yeah. Oh, my man, 2029, I'm gonna say I will sell my another thing.
Oh, but
I'll be the Henry Costa.
2029 is the last bus stop. I mean, you make it now, then you in your 70s, oh, you done.
I'll be the Henry Costa. I said, oh, man, the issue room we here. Oh. Just bring $200,000.
LIB. But anyway, mostly let me get running. I gotta go.
Whatever country is this, my man.
Country, my man.
Whatever country is there, my man. In your own country, my man. If you just make you pay, come.
Your own country.
Yeah, my man. You got college degree and all, my man. But they will never take your phone call.
Yeah, you tend to beg out in your own country. No opportunity, my man. Yeah.
All people are too greedy.
Yeah. Self-centered, egocentric. I mean, it's just unfortunate. I don't know where we're going, but let's see. President Barker will try his best, but he has to continue to reshuffle. President Barker should understand this government that he established is not set in stone. It has to be like a deck of cards that you got to continue to shuffle. If you dealt the wrong hand, the next opportunity you get to deal, you must what? Shuffle the cards. Any president who sits there and appoints his cabinet and ride with them, ride and die, you will ride and die the other way around. But if you're shuffling and making sure that what your plan is to accomplish, and this person is not producing, you find people who can produce. you will make a better progress. It's not about
I agree.
loyalty to yourself, it's about loyalty to country. And if you say
Yeah.
think, build, and love Liberia, then that mantra or that motto must be practiced to the fullest.
That's
So,
true.
President Boaka, think, love, and build Liberia cannot be done by people who are sycophant,
Mhm.
cannot be done by people who are loyal to you. It
Yeah.
can only be done by people who are loyal to the Republic of Liberia. Because why?
Absolutely.
You will go in 6 years. I was there for 6 years. The people who were loyal to him, they went out with him. The people who remain patriotic to Liberia, they are still in the jobs, in the position. So that's the way it works. Loyalty should not be to the leader. Loyalship rather
To the
should be to the
country.
country. So please, if you find people right now not doing the jobs, straighten them up. If they can't get straightened up, we're not saying fire. You got reprimands. You're president. You can
Show the people
reprimand.
the doors, my man.
Yeah, you can reprimand. So do your job. You promised the Liberian people. You were the last hope for the Liberian people. We have people younger than you. We have people, and you the oldest grandfather for our country. Not just the father, but the grandfather for our country. So we implore you to start acting within the confines of your responsibility and the things you promise the Liberian people. Don't renege on it. Work hard. You can do it. We trust that you can do it. We know that you have integrity. And don't let people with non-integrity come and destroy your presidency, your leadership, your governance. The sooner the better. It's like a soccer game or any game. You put a man in 3 minutes, the man start fumbling with a ball. He can't even make a straight pass. My man can't sit down.
Down.
Yeah, let me put somebody in who can pass the ball. That's how it is. You keep a man there until the enemy score 3-4 goals, then you want to change the team. It's lit. It's lit.
Oh.
So you got 5.2 million people to find the best candidates from. And I'm saying this. You got 5.2 million Liberians to find the best candidate from. If you can, if you put John Brown in this space and John Brown can't perform because he came with ulterior motive, he came to be a criminal, to corrupt, to steal from the beginning because he thinks that it is the old order, remove that food and throw him in jail, bring somebody else. If you drag that country down the drain, I don't know who else will save it. That's my thought, Moses. I'm done.
I agree. That's why it should be.
So we'll catch up, my man, on Tuesday. But let's
Sure.
circle back. We'll talk during the week and then
Okay.
try to remedy some of these issues. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Again,
Good night.
it was a pleasure.
Good night, everybody. We love you all. Thank you
Okay.
so much for showing up. We'll be back here Tuesday by the grace of God. Have a good weekend, every one of you. Good night.